We have a lot to cover today, so thank you for joining. We're going to have a packed webinar. If you are currently considering AT&T as a part of your growth plan for 2026, you've just started in the AT&T ecosystem and are trying to get more information about best ways to go to market. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give you some examples of other MSPs, IT companies that have done tremendous things in terms of growth with AT&T partnerships. So thank you for joining today. My name is Laura Johns, founder and CEO of the Business Growers, and one of the highlights of my career and ownership here at the Business Growers has been a partnership with AT&T. And so we're going to talk all about that today and how they can bring massive opportunity to your business. We promoted this specifically for managed services providers, but really if your communications, if you are just in general thinking about growth in 2026, AT&T as a part of that is a bona fide great strategy in terms of growth. Today we have a couple of representatives from AT&T. I'm really excited. Max Joseph is with the AT&T Partner Exchange, and then Christy Bauer, who is with the AT&T Alliance channel. We're going to hear from both because there's not just one way to sell AT&T, as we know. Also, we're going to hear from Gary Watts, a personal friend of mine and managed services provider, owner, founder, who started his business selling a voice product and then has transitioned via the AT&T product to grow his portfolio and allow him to serve his customers better today as a managed services provider. So as we get started, I've got a couple of ground rules. If you've been on a webinar of mine before, you know I do kind of like to set the tone and create a couple ground rules. So we're going to do that really quickly. If you like what you hear today and you're interested in learning more about growing your business, you can certainly subscribe to the Business Growers on YouTube. This webinar will actually be posted there within a day or less. My team is really good about getting those on our YouTube really quickly. And of course, if you register today, you will get this sent to you as soon as it's available. But one thing I did want to ask is you've shown up today. You've heard me say this before. If you've been on any of my webinars, you've shown up today. You've committed, you've registered, you've taken the time to block this from your calendar. So I just that you be here now, that you learn as much as you can, be a student. I always like to say, put your participant cap on, be open to what you can learn today. Some of you are already experts at this. Some of you may just be starting to research this. So we want you to put your participant hat on, put your phones on silent, maybe take Teams, off, sign out of Slack Teams, whatever you've got going on your laptop. And give this 100% of your attention so that you can really learn as much as possible today and focus on what you have to learn. All right. I'm going to step back for a minute and let my friends at AT&T talk about how they bring companies just like yours alongside them in revenue growth. Max Joseph, would you get us started today?
I sure will, Laura. Thanks so much. Participant hat. I love that. I can tell the mother of small children there. I'm going to have to find a way to use it. Hi, everybody. My name is Max Joseph. I'm the Director of Business Development for AT&T Partner Exchange. Today, we're going to talk about the Partner Exchange and AT&T in general. We're going to talk about how we can unlock new opportunities together. Like Laura said, I invite you to engage and ask questions if you have them. Let's kick it off. Let's talk about AT&T by the numbers. AT&T is committed to building the premier network in the world. It's reflected by our $145 million investment over the past 5 years. Every day, we move more than 4 petabytes of information across the world, and it's connecting 2.5 million businesses worldwide. Our 5G network now reaches 315 million people in the U.S., and our fiber network stretches more than 1.4 million miles. These numbers aren't just statistics. They represent our promise to deliver reliability, speed, and security to partners we serve. So why are we choosing AT&T Business? Well, it's because we're here to set the new standard for networking, one that combines the reliability of fiber and 5G and the security of a network that's built for security and defense. Not only that, you also have access to the expertise of countless dedicated professionals who are going to understand your specific business. Our dynamic defense solution is designed to stop threats before they even reach you. And with the AT&T guarantee, we stand behind our commitment to help you stay connected so that you can focus on what happens to matter to you the most, your customers. Now let's talk about the AT&T Partner Exchange program. We call it Apex for short. AT&T considers this a resale program, but it is so much more than just a regular program. It's really a platform for your success. Apex gives you access to tools and APIs to support and help you grow your business and serve your customers. With Apex, you're empowered and you own your customer, backed by the strength and scale of AT&T. Now, with Apex, you're going to own the entire customer experience. You can create co-branded solutions with AT&T, but you're going to manage the billing and the tax and the support. You remain that point of contact for your customer. But we're not going to just throw you to the wolves, don't worry. You're going to have 24-hour access to our self-serve portals. You can quote and price and submit tickets if you need to. You'll also have a dedicated domestic-based account team here to support you or answer any questions you may have. Remember, we're here to support you, but you're the lead. You'll be shaping the journey for your clients and your business. Now, Apex opens the door to a comprehensive portfolio of strategic solutions, whether it's IoT or 5G or dedicated internet, the list goes on and on and on. You're going to have the flexibility to tailor the solutions that will layer into your business and add to your value so that you can deliver the best possible solution for your end users. Our network's designed for the future, so you can deliver what your customers need today. Now, the Ecosystem Partner Program within Apex expands your capabilities even further. You're going to gain access to expert third-party resources for marketing and billing and taxation and API development, from lead generation to event support to 24/7 monitoring services. We're going to provide the infrastructure so that you can focus on building relationships and driving growth. So why join the Apex program? Well, it's an opportunity to add value and a recurring revenue stream. You're going to have access to a 24/7 portal. You'll be able to tap into the entire ecosystem of partners that I just mentioned, all of that. And you'll receive $30,000 in marketing development funds as AT&T's investment in the partnership. That's going to jumpstart your growth. Remember, you own the end-to-end customer relationship, but together, we are going to achieve so much more. And with that, let me introduce my colleague, Christy, from our sister program, the AT&T Alliance.
Thank
Hey,
you.
everybody. Christy Bauer here. So yes, as Max just said, I support our AT&T Alliance channel. I am what we call a partner enablement, which is somebody that gets to work very closely with you guys and with our channel managers in making you successful. So let's talk about the differences between what you just heard between Apex and Alliance. So you heard Max mention the AT&T guarantee, which is huge for us, right? That's something that we offer our customers, saying, hey, if things go wrong, we know that's going to happen, but we're here, right? We guarantee that we're going to get you back up and running and take care of you. We've got world-class products, as he mentioned earlier in the call, between 5G and fiber. We've got a reliable, secure network. And what's great about working with an alliance is you have access to sell into almost all of our AT&T accounts. So what that means is we've got several segments, right, within AT&T. It's a big company, whether it's small business, mids, enterprise, platinum groups, all these different groups of folks that sell. And you get to access, partner, and work within those channels, which is fabulous. You have flexible compensation plans, which is great. And then obviously you can take a look here and see that we've got a portfolio that's wide enough for you to choose one segment that maybe you want to focus on, or large enough for you to kind of cover all of them. So what's great about Alliance is you could be a 2-man, 3-man, 3-woman shop, right? Or you could have 50, 60 to 100 employees working for you. No matter which one you fall into, you can sell all of these products and you get the same amount of support from our team. So I'll move on because Max covered a lot of what those products were. And let's talk about how my role as enablement and support and our channel managers will help anybody that's coming onto this program. So market development funds, we too have market development funds, because when you're starting up a new company, you need some money to do some marketing. Probably why some of you guys are on a lot of these webinars with Laura. We're here to help you as well, right? So as you are selling and generating those sales, we're also putting some money into that market development bank. That's going to help you maybe get leads, maybe be a part of events and have the table set up and all those great balloons and things that you see when you go to some of these events. Website development. Coming in as a new company, that's something that you need as well. All those little things that that first year are working to get that business going, those monies and those funds can be used towards helping you grow that way. Training. Now, this is one of my favorite parts. We offer learning sessions weekly. Whether you're new to telecom or not, telecom is ever changing, which means that we've got to stay on the cusp of what is going on and all the new technologies that are coming out. These learning sessions, they're either 30 minutes to an hour long. They're recorded. You, your teams can join. And whether it's a product, a tool, a promotion, we make sure that we walk through that with you and your sellers so you guys are always up to speed. Part of that is certification paths as well. Things like FirstNet. Anything specific that you're wanting to get your team ramped up on, we've got that. And then tooling. Lots of tools are needed to go out and sell in today's economy. Am I right? So you'll have 24/7 portal access into so much from promos, flyers, campaigns, anything that you're going to need in regards to specific products that you're trying to sell. Pricing and offers, site qualification, right? Does this site qualify for fiber? Is this a good area for our 5G? All those things are included in our tools, including support center and marketing resources. So the biggest thing that I can leave you with when you're leaning towards Alliance, when you're just getting started, wanting to get your foot in the door, is that you're not alone. You are not on an island. You will have more support probably in this segment than I can say with any other segment, because we want you to be successful and we want you to be able to utilize all these tools to go out and help spread AT&T across the globe. Okay. And it looks like, Laura, I'm handing it back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. And I, just having worked firsthand with, all of you presenting, and then, of course, I'm going to introduce in just a minute, having seen multiple examples in real life of how both of these programs are, by all means are programs that can work for you as an AT&T reseller. But I think the beauty of it is that AT&T has realized that people don't always want to sell the same way. There are different things that are priorities for whether it's the owner, the sales team, how they want to go to market. And I think the recognition of that by AT&T is, fabulous. And that really when someone comes to AT&T and is trying to figure out how to sell, you really can assess that by asking them what their end game is and what their objectives are and how they want to go to market. And then you can find a way for them to do that through one of your channels. So I love that. Okay, so now I'm going to take a minute. There are some QR codes for both Alliance and AT&T Partner Exchange. I'll stop for just a second and see if there's anyone that has a question for either Max or Christy right now. I'm actually going to look here in the chat. And I'm going to ask for a little interactive moment. If you aren't going to ask questions, then I'm going to ask you a question. Put a 1 in the chat if you are already selling AT&T today in some capacity. I'd love to just get a show of hands of who's already selling today, just so we see. All right, I know we got one. Saw him. People are being shy. Well, okay, we got a few more. Good. Awesome. Okay, we got people already selling, so that's great. And of course, this webinar also is to educate those who might not be, or to understand which path they may want to take. I'm going to introduce someone who, over the last a little less than a decade, I would say, Gary, you can give us the exact year mark, but Gary Watts, who is the founder and CEO of Fuse.Cloud, formerly Broadband Voice. I think that's kind of an interesting, pivot, is that Gary, for several years, how long were you selling voice exclusively, Gary?
Well, about 3 or 4, really.
Okay.
Starting partner with AT&T. And
So in 2006, Gary started a voice company here in the Mississippi area, but really was impacting his customers all over the Southeast. And then he started, as he saw the demand for customers, which he's going to talk about, expressing need for other services, other products. Gary was able to meet that need through a partnership with AT&T. So Gary, thank you for joining today. I think the statistic based on what your CFO told me was about 271% growth since you started working with AT&T. So I think that's a great number. Wouldn't we all like to be there? I love that. So talk a little bit about just the partnership as a whole and what it's meant to your business and what you've seen as a result.
Okay. Thanks. And I hope everybody's doing good today. We started in 2006 as a voice over IP provider. One of the first ones in the state of Mississippi. And for the first 2 or 3 years, we kind of had this strategy of allowing our customers to bring their own bandwidth, and then we would sell them the voice product. But as that product started actually maturing in the market, it was obvious that our customers really were demanding a comprehensive product that would have both on the same bill. So they would deal with different providers. And, AT&T was a really good fit for us because, their coverage is in 95% of the country as far as population goes. And so it was just a really easy transition for us to start selling the product. Now, I don't know exactly how many years I've been on the Apex program. Laura says 9.
Right as it was getting started, I believe.
But we were doing something with AT&T even prior to that, even if it was having the customer bill come to us and then we bill the customer. But it gave us a one-stop shop to be able to provide internet access for the customer, and we started bundling that together on one bill. And then when the Apex program started, it really, really helped rocket our growth because then all these tools that I think Christy were talking about, we got access to, which were the training and the maps and all the thing we need to know to qualify an address. And they actually, through the partner exchange, gave us a quoting system that actually, gave us access to where AT&T was available and where it wasn't. And all those tools really, really made a difference in our growth. And, if you're like me, now we went with Apex because we had the head count to be able to handle billing, those type things. But our customers really demanded a lot of relationship personally. And so we were able to be that relationship for AT&T in that respect. And we have very little churn because of it, because AT&T for sure has the best network out there to be able to provide the customer if it's available. And then, so that's kind of our growth pattern with that. In 2018, and I think this is interesting, and Laura, you can ask me a question if I missed something too, but then we started with our MSP product in 2018, where a lot of you probably on the call are an MSP first. It was our last product to add because what we were seeing as a voice and internet provider, who did we have to talk to get the okay to sell and voice and internet? We had to talk to the IT guy in the company.
And they sometimes will bring in their MSP or put their outsourced IT sometimes.
Yes, so many times they were influenced by other factors than what was best for the customer. And so as we became the MSP, which most of you are, it really gave us leverage with the customer to say, this is your best option from an internet perspective. So if you're already an MSP, you're already a leg up.
Right.
You're controlling a lot of those decisions anyway, so you might as well be making some income from it.
Right.
I looked this morning, just getting prepared for this. Right now, 38% of our revenue as a company is through internet access. And I'm not saying that all of that, but 75 to 78% of that is coming through AT&T. And, reselling it, and Christy, I apologize because I'm not ever been on your side, but on the Apex side, we're able to be competitive. We're still seeing 35 to 40% margin on most of those circuits. And we don't have to maintain that network at all.
Yeah.
So there's no reason if you've got the confidence of the customer and you already have the relationship that you shouldn't be able to move this product in. And they've got a lot of options, not only just direct internet access fiber, speeds, but there's affordable products out there that actually compete with cable companies and things like that too. And so it really gives you an opportunity to grow your revenue based on becoming the internet provider for that customer.
Thank you, Gary. I feel like one marker of if you're on the fence about making this decision or you've considered it before, or maybe you're even selling a similar product in a different way or whatever. I think if you look across your portfolio and you see opportunity for growth, even just within your current customer base, that's the first thing I tell my customers to do, especially if they're coming in to me as a partner exchange ecosystem marketing partner. When they're coming into me, the first thing we want to do is make sure we are putting this new product in front of your existing customers for low-hanging fruit. So if you feel like you've got a current customer base that could use that product or are buying it elsewhere, then that's a number one indication that this is a good option for you. And then secondly, if you feel like Gary just said, if you're getting in the door somewhere and then you don't have the portfolio that the customer needs, if you see that, on a regular basis, or you see your local competition in there, with their proposal sitting on the same desk next to your proposal, you need to start thinking about whether or not adding another product to your portfolio makes sense, because you definitely don't want to lose a customer or have somebody who's looking for a provider who can do multiple things and you just can't. So I'd love to just ask for both Max and Christy, if you don't mind answering this question. Let's just say I'm an MSP today, not reselling AT&T or any internet, and I want to get started. What does that process look like, both on the partner exchange side, on the alliance side? Just walk me through that and help me understand. I know a lot of people probably have that wall up and think, oh, this is a lot of work or too much trouble or, that type of thing. So I'd love to just kind of hear from both of you what that looks like so they can understand, if they were to say yes today and make this part of their growth plan in 26, what they should do.
Yeah, I'll start. Gary, thank you. You made my job very easy. You kind of do everything. What I tell my partners is, here's the mantra I think of, is 100% of your customers need internet. So you've got, like Laura said, that embedded base that you can kind of go after, whether it is a 5G wireless backup or a fiber backup. They're using the product, and this is an opportunity for you to capture that additional revenue. As far as getting involved with my program or either of our programs, if you go to AT&T Business, the website there, you can just type in AT&T Partner Program or AT&T Resale Program, and it'll take you to the business page, and that will let you migrate and navigate to the various programs. For the resale program, you would apply right there on the website, fill out basic information, your name, your information there. And then I'll reach out to you, set up a meeting, and we can kind of talk through your business model and understand exactly what it is you're trying to do, what pain points you have, and understand if that partnership makes sense. And if it doesn't, that's when I, hand it over to Christy and the Alliance team. We work back and forth. There's no conflict between it. So we're really great partners that way. Christy, I think it's similar for you.
Yeah, it's very similar process. And I'll say the two biggest things when you're considering this and what we look for is what I call will and skill, right? You've got to have the will to want to get out there and sell and build relationships and talk to people. It's not something that comes easy, whether it's Apex or Alliance, right? They're not just going to come rushing to the door and you write orders out. It doesn't work that way in sales, right? But if you've got the will, and if you're motivated and you have some strategy already, or like Max and Gary just said, you've already got customers you're working with. You're already hearing the conversations when you're sitting in there and talking about things that they need, and you can fill that gap. That's what both of our programs can do. And so, yeah, you'll come talk to us. We'll figure out the strategy. And when I say skill, you don't have to be an expert, right? You may be really good with fiber or really good with mobility, and that's where we help you navigate. That's where we help you sharpen the skills and give you those extra things. So that's why I think it's just a great launching platform with Alliance. And even if Alliance ends up leading to Apex and you continue to grow and you become fabulous like Gary here on our call, it's the best place to start and have the support and the skill and all the tools you're going to need to be successful. And there's not a lot of programs that offer that, but I can say, because I work intimately with all these folks, man, we've got a great program for you guys.
Can I add one thing?
Please.
Let me just give an example of where it really made sense to me. There's a guy named Donald Miller that has written a book called StoryBrand, and he's a marketing kind of genius.
Anybody on here has heard me talk about it before.
Anyway, Donald had a little meeting. He used to have these little workshops for like 30, 35 people in Nashville, and I went up for one of them and met him. And for some reason, he picked me to stand up and explain what I did. What does our company sell? And so, I'd been doing it for 15 or 20 years as far as in the industry. And so I gave what I thought was a perfectly normal explanation. And this was a group of CEOs.
Oh, no.
Before we started working together, Gary, so you didn't have your pitch down.
That's right. That's right. Basically, this is when everything made sense to me. He said, how many people in the room understand what you do? And not one of them really raised their hand because I was so caught in this, telephony talk, And so basically we got on a whiteboard and we diagnosed what we did. And I might need to tell the AT&T people to be Vince Vaughn and have earmuffs for right this moment. But basically, at the end of it, he said, you mean I can have internet through you and not do business with AT&T or Comcast directly? And I said, yes, you can. And he said, that's your pitch.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. For whatever reason, AT&T made a business model decision, which probably has worked for them, to walk away from direct relationship with the customer. And if you can add that relationship back, or you already have it, whether you're on the Light channel or the Apex channel, then you are giving the customer something they do not have today, but they can have with you for the same price or maybe lower.
Fabulous point, Gary. AT&T is a huge name, right? It opens a lot of doors.
Right.
It closes some doors too. And that's kind of the benefit of working with our channel partners, is that you're able to maintain that relationship and get your foot in places that AT&T just isn't. That's a great story. Thank you.
And these relationships that companies like yours, Gary's, and there's several, on the call that I just see, you are gifted at building relationships with your customer. And I can tell you right now, as a business owner, there's no one more important in my business than the, team that's running my technology. And so you build this trust with the team that's running your technology, and that's who you want to buy from, the team that you trust. So I think that relationship component is huge. I'm glad that you said that. I have another question that just came in. So for both Max and Christy, from a size standpoint, ideal size, I think a lot of people aren't really sure, who to go to first, or where do I fit, or, is there a flexibility or an ideal model in terms of where someone fits, or what would the qualifiers be maybe in terms of, is it size, or is it more just how do you want to go to market, or what are those things? Max, can you start and kind of talk about that?
Yeah. So for the Apex, for the resale program, there is no cost to join this program, right? That's not what this is about. What we like to do during the interview phase, I'll talk to you about your business and what you're trying to sell and what your expectations are. And I'll get some quotes of existing customers from you. I'll say, hey, who do you think you're going to move over to the Apex program? And I'll start price quoting for you. And that's so that you can look at that and say, okay, hey, AT&T covers my customers. AT&T is going to give me this kind of margin. I can make money on this, right? Because if you can't make money on it, then it's into the discussion. And then lastly is, can you hit revenue numbers? And so for Apex, for a direct relationship with us, we'd like to see you get to $2,500 a month in monthly reoccurring revenue by month 6, and then grow that to $5,000 by month 12. And those aren't hard numbers, right? If you're at $4,500 and it's month 12 and you're quoting and you're working with your sales team, you'll be fine, right? But we don't want you to come into this program if you've only got $500 or $1,000 of reoccurring revenue, because for my program, at least, there is a lot of work involved, right? You are doing all of the billing and tax and support. So if you're going to pick up all of that work and effort, but only be able to sell maybe a circuit or two, it's just not worth the payoff for you. That's why we would recommend maybe another one of our programs or one of our larger master agents. So $2,500 by month 6 and $5,000 by month 12 is kind of the minimum size that we recommend.
And I do think that it's worth noting, Max, that, on both Alliance and Apex side, you're not just, throwing anybody to the wolves. I mean, you have MDF available to help. You've got resources. So it's not like they sign something with you and then, you wipe your hands clean. Based on what I've seen, you guys on both sides do a really great job of enabling to the point. But like you said, Christy, you've got to have, what was it, will and skill?
Yeah.
I have will and skill.
Both.
Yeah. So what about
the other thing with Alliance, it's kind of like Max said, obviously our thresholds are not as high as Apex, which why I say is, to me, it's a great starting spot, right? To get your foot in the door, get used to the industry. But we even have programs like front office as a service So helping with all those things pre-sell, right? Maybe you need outbound callers or two people to start setting appointments for you so your two sellers can run around. And then we've even got things like back office as a service. Hey, I just sold this, but who's going to track these orders for me while I go keep selling? Or who's going to help me if there's a billing issue and I'm not really sure how to resolve it? So that's why I love the channel that I'm in. I love Alliance so much, is because there are so many flavors that fit where you are. We're going to help you grow. We're going to grow with you. You're not ever going to feel like, man, I have no help. I can't do this. You're going to always have support in one facet or the other, and people jumping in because we want you to be successful. Your success is our success. So we're going to be there to help you all the time.
Love that. I'm going to ask you one question that I get asked all the time from AT&T customers. So, I think it's fair for me to throw it back at you guys. The first thing I get asked usually on the marketing side is, how much of my time am I going to have to invest in this? So I think it's clear that you got to want it to win it, right? If you are looking for a cash cow that you're not going to have to put forth any effort, this is not the program, right? But what would you say if someone is worried about the time commitment in those first, maybe it's 30, 60, 90 days, whatever that is? What tools and resources can help with that? And what would the time commitment look like for somebody that would be responsible for managing this relationship? Christy, you want to go ahead and go with
that one? Yeah. So I'm a big believer in work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it a couple of times. You have an assigned channel manager. You come on as a partner. Laura, we are assigning you to Max. Max is going to be there to help you. He's going to walk you through these tools. He's going to help you kind of get your day in a life down of what you need to do, right? Because Max was in sales and he probably came from one of our sales teams and he's moved over here and he's got all the stuff, right? So you instantly have help with that. In terms of schedule, if you're working smart, you learn how to work the schedule. You learn and you get better at making calls, at making appointments, at targeting areas where we have fiber-lit buildings where you can go hit 20 or 25 people at one time. So it's really hard to answer that because it just depends on your organization and your strategy. But again, that's a tool that we help you with because we've got so much experience to say, that doesn't work. Just abandon that. It ain't going to work. Here's where you need to go focus. And I think that's the biggest key.
One thing that I found really successful MSPs into the program kind of do is, as they get into the program, they do with their account team a 360 analysis of where are their strengths and where are their weaknesses, and identifying those weaknesses. A lot of the MSPs are missing PR, marketing, for lack of a better term. They're really good at internet. Some of them are really good at getting the businesses and things, but not a lot of them are marketing gurus, right? And that's where something like the NDF fund comes into play. Maybe you have everything set up, you're great, but you don't really have a billing system. Well, new partners are going to get $30,000 of MDF funds to fill those functional gaps. Maybe you have everything set, but you don't really know how to generate a lead list. Well, that's where, like, a partner as the business growers, Laura, I send all of my customers to her because she sits down and has a conversation and says, hey, I know you want to grow. Here's a way to do that. And let us take that from you and run with it and help you grow and help you set up a cadence so that you can maximize your growth potential, but also serve your existing clients.
I love that. What a great segue, Max. Well, glad you said that, Max. Actually,
you, right?
I think, ask somebody who's been in, somebody joked with me at an event this week in Tampa. I said I'd been in the industry for 20 years. I have. I actually graduated college and jumped right into a company that was putting AT&T cellular inside an electric meter. So my whole career has been an AT&T friend for a long time. And that was 20 years ago. So I have been in the telecom space for that long. But, I think that having seen MDF programs in multiple different ways from vendors, they really, you can slice it a lot of different ways. And I think that the beauty of, a company with the resources like AT&T has is that it's not an MDF program that you are going to have to, burn so much time to figure out, and then you're getting pennies on the dollar, right? They are giving you money and they want, if they win and you win, then everybody wins, right? So that's kind of the model with the MDF and whether it be marketing or billing, tax, the things that you just talked about, they want to be able to help take some of those things and give you assistance with it so that you can go to market faster. So I'll talk a little bit about how we help our customers. We do have customers both on the Alliance side and the Apex side. So, but usually when people come to me and have a conversation, it's through, they get in the program with AT&T and I get an email from someone, or they've seen you at an event or, something like that. And they're interested in how we can help and how they can utilize their MDF through me. Well, this little wheel kind of shows you, and some of the things to the side show you typically what these problems are. It could be, I don't know, I don't have the bandwidth to go to market with this new product. I don't have a marketing team, which is okay. That's the whole reason, I started this business in the first place. Our website is terrible. We don't have any of the AT&T products listed on our website, or, all of these things you can kind of see. We don't have a good system for follow-up. So we have taken all of the pain points over the last, my last 20 years in this industry and figured out a way to solve for that pain point. So that's what you can do with your dollars. And like I said earlier, we want to make sure that one of the first things we do is take that current customer base and make sure that everyone in your customer base, especially if you're bringing this product on as a new service for them, that they know that you're selling it. But these are some of the pain points. If you feel like this is you, then this would be a good reason to choose to use your MDF with us at the Business Growers. And we have a couple of different programs. We have a marketing kit, which is just like a baseline kit that's a little bit more, you're doing it some yourself, but we're giving you kind of all the tools and resources to do that. And then we have 2 core programs. One is very foundational, making sure that your messaging, your branding, those AT products are on your website and pages are built out for things like Google search and those types of things. And then when you get that foundation laid, we have our Lead Accelerator program that allows you to really start generating new opportunities through a variety of different things. You can kind of see here how our programs fit. I have a QR code there if you want to grab it. Or, if you register for this webinar, you're getting 1,000 emails from me. So you probably can find my contact information somewhere. And then here is my QR code if you're interested in connecting with me on LinkedIn, but we also gave you QR codes for the other folks on the call. So we have a few minutes left, about 20 minutes actually. So I'm happy to answer any further questions, or if anybody that's here today has anything they want to add. And if you are muted, you can certainly go off mute for the questions, or you can throw them in the chat, whatever is your preference. We did have a lot of folks on the call today. Anybody have any questions they want to ask the group?
Have to be about AT&T. You can just
I was
quiz
going to
us.
say, it's kind of like when your pastor lets you out of church early. It's like a whole 20 minutes.
I don't know what to do with myself.
We maximize our time here. Okay. Any final thoughts from anybody on the panel today before we head out?
I will say, the most successful customers I've seen come in through the MDF program that we mentioned earlier. Something you should know is that it is awarded quarterly, and it's or lose it. So it's not as if I'm going to throw this bundle of money at you and you just use it at your leisure. So you have to have a plan to use it. And Laura's got a couple of programs that honestly, if you have a place to use it, great. If you don't, just let her do her thing. Just use that money, because if you don't have a plan to spend that money, it's gone.
Yeah.
And what's great about the Business Growers is they will not only, utilize those funds for you, but by them doing that, that gets you more leads, which should get you more sales, which then gives you more funds. And you end up in this, this cycle. That's the most successful ways I've seen it. We have so many partners that don't use it and then forget about it. And I'm like, well, it's quarterly, it's gone now, and you didn't sell enough last quarter.
That's the most painful conversation I have is, hey, you just missed the deadline. 15,000.
That's free money. So that's just something I want to leave people with. It's be proactive about it. Understand that, if you have a need, great. If you don't, let Laura and her team help you generate business.
Right.
Don't lose the money.
Christy, anything you want to?
I'll say I'm on here for a reason, right? Max is on here for a reason. Laura invited us for a reason. We need you, right? AT&T is a huge company, but we only have so many sellers. hitting so many cities and so many areas. And we can't do it alone. We realize that. Like, we need the help. We need the assistance. And so if you're looking for that sign that says, like, now's the time, because I look for those all the time, or like, okay, if it's red, I'm going to go with it, or if it's green, here's your sign. There's so much investment going into our channels next year. There's so much focus going into Apex and Alliance, tools, money, resources, because AT&T realizes we need you. We need you guys to jump in, to have those conversations with us, and for us to help you make money, and for Laura to help you go market on how to make even more money, right? So that's my biggest thing to leave with today, is there is a lot of attention and a lot of focus on our channels, and we really need you guys. So come have the conversation. It's not going to hurt. It'll hopefully be fun. You can learn something from it, and hopefully we can all go make some more money and grow together.
Right. I love it. Well, thank you all for joining today. If you are interested in talking to Max or Chrissy and missed for whatever reason, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be sure to get you connected. Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you next time.